Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Taking your questions from Twitter.com. This is hashtag AskSCW episode 5. Got your questions here at the ready. And if you want to ask any questions for episode 6, get me in the comment section of this video right now. Or you can message me on Twitter, SCW Wrestling Channel, or at SCW_Steve. Which should be covered on your screen right about now. But right, let's get into the questions then for this week. First question this week comes from Dylan Ketchum, who asks, what did you think of Sasha Banks returning to Raw and turning heel with blue hair? Well, personally, I think overall this is a complete positive for WWE and also for Sasha Banks as well. Coming back to WWE programming, for me, I've been really excited to see her return and what they do with her return. I think a heel move is the right move, and yeah, going after Becky Lynch for me was just the perfect timing, really. Put her back in, put her in the top spot, and put her after that Raw Women's Championship. It felt for me that Becky Lynch was running out of competitors that she could go against, to be brutally honest. It felt like that there wasn't really more credibility left, and it almost felt that the Natalia feud was, for me, I never believed that Becky Lynch was dropping the belt, where with Sasha coming in, I feel there was a chance. I mean, it felt for me, if Sasha wasn't coming back, you either needed to promote someone from NXT, you needed to bring someone over from SmackDown, or you needed Ronda Rousey back. So for me, really, the perfect storm here is about doing any of those. Sasha Banks is the right person to be going for that Raw Women's Championship. The blue hair, perfect little twist. I love it because it shows us something different about her. So it's like purple hair, good Sasha. Blue hair, bad Sasha. You know exactly where you're standing with it. It's just a little twist, a little change. It's subtle, but it shows and makes a point, and I think that's really cool. My only negative with the return was I wasn't so sure about the interrupting Natty at that particular point. But I guess with Sasha being a heel, it just adds to the fact that she was coming out being a bad person. So for me, on the whole, I was really positive with it, and I'm hoping it's going to lead to a good build-up. The chair shots as well had a bit of a brutal feel about it. This feud with Sasha and Becky Lynch has started off strong. I believe it's going to go all the way to Night of Champions, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new Raw Women's Champion. Next question comes from Random Sports Faults. In the span of 24 hours, Seth Rollins beat Brock cleanly and was endorsed by Bret Hart and Steve Austin. What do you think about this all-in push by WWE? Well, personally, for me, looking at this, I would say that it's always good that WWE are putting their eggs in a basket and saying, this guy, we want him to be something, so let's push a rocket and send him to the moon. Beating Brock, I did say at the time, I did have trouble suspending disbelief with the idea of him beating Brock, despite the fact he was victimised, you could say, on the road to SummerSlam this year. But he won the title, and he won it in a good fashion. I think fans actually got on side where they were not on side with Seth Rollins. I don't think it hurts with Legends putting him over. It just puts the idea of that we kind of always have that nostalgia pop where you look at Raw Reunion and the ratings boosted, and people seem to care what these legends think. I mean, a lot of them have podcasts, a lot of people listen to them. So for those sort of superstars, like Steve Austin was one of the greatest of all time, so was Bret Hart. If they're turning around going, Seth Rollins, he's a champion, he's someone you should take seriously, and they put him over like that, there is a chance that fans will buy into it more. So from that perspective, yeah, I mean, people will sort of believe in Seth when you see things like that. And of course, if the guy keeps on winning and beating different competitors always and is the champion of your company, there's a good chance that people are going to buy into it, and it will be a good thing going forward. The only risk of it is, of course, you could argue maybe a John Cena, Roman Reigns effect. If a guy's pushed down your throats too much and you don't want it, fans will start getting vocal about it. So that's the only risk factor over here. But for me, really, I mean, arguably Roman Reigns is pushed as the main guy right now. Seth Rollins is probably the next in line, and the more people they can push really to that sort of level, the better. I mean, you look at old eras in WWE, maybe the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression. There was always like 6 guys that could be world champion, and it was always believable. And I think that's what they need to get to that level right now, and make those guys top stars when they get to that level as well. Don't just sort of put them in a spot, burn them out, and then that's it. Try and use that superstar when you make a superstar to elevate the next superstar. To go back to keep your superstar even more elevated, you can build 2, 3 superstars on the go here. And you looked in the Attitude Era, like I said, you had Steve Austin, you had The Rock, you had Triple H, Shawn Michaels was a part of that era at that point, The Undertaker, Mankind, Kurt Angle, Kane. There was lots of different options you could have had as your world champion. You go to the Ruthless Aggression era, you had John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton. So you had guys there that really could elevate and take it to the next level. And then you'd push superstars on like Edge as well. So there was a lot of guys that were always world champion potential. Nowadays it feels like Roman Reigns is kind of the guy. There is a couple of other guys. I mean, Brock Lesnar has been the champion, Seth Rollins. We've got Kofi right now. Daniel Bryan, AJ have been there, but it feels like that when they're not there, they don't seem to remain at that level. I think that's something WWE need to work on with their top stars. But I'm all in favour of pushing on Seth Rollins. Let's make him that top star. And keeping him off Twitter, probably be a good idea as well. I think it could be a positive direction here for WWE with Seth Rollins pushing him as one of the main guys. Because a lot of people like Seth on the whole. I know he gets a lot of hate on Twitter for maybe some of his more recent actions. But I think in ring work, people are on side. And I think that he is someone deep down I think we want to see succeed on the whole. I hope I speak for everyone and I say that anyway. I'm definitely speaking for myself. But we'll go to the next question, which is coming from Samuel Adekius. WWE had the perfect opportunity to give Braun his monster gimmick instead of shaking hands. He should have power slammed not only AJ but Seth also, and from there he would have his title run. Right after slaying the beast now, Seth would have to deal with the monster among men. What do you think about Braun going for AJ's title instead of the Universal? Well, for me personally, looking at this, I think WWE are looking to book a Universal Championship picture here anyway, despite the fact that we've not got the monster here. And I think the monster of old would power slam Seth, but I think they're trying to establish the fact that Braun is remaining a face here. This will be a face versus face feud. I personally am more of a fan of face versus heels, good versus bad. I always find there's more investment with that rather than splitting the crowd. I mean, instantly, we've just gone on the last question about trying to build Seth out and get him over. Then we're going to put him against someone arguably who is very much over with the fans as well. You're going to ask for a split reaction. So I think it would have been better for Seth to go against the heel. I think that Braun perhaps would be better against the heel. The only thing I got against Braun against AJ, I'd actually like the feud and I think the match would be pretty solid. My only problem with it is I don't want Braun to become the United States champion. I'd rather him go where he should be, which is the top of the card. This match with Seth Rollins feels like it makes the most sense. But at the same time, I don't want to see Braun Strowman turn heel again because he's been heel on face on switching quite a lot of times over the last couple of years. He arguably could turn into Big Show territory if he continues to do so. So I'm personally not in favour of that. But I do kind of feel that this is probably the best match WWE has to offer right now for Clash of Champions. So this is why they're doing Seth versus Braun. We'll have to see how it plays out. I do have faith, though, in Paul Heyman's booking. I think Paul Heyman is a genius. I always have, ever since his ECW days. So from a creative standpoint, I have got a bit of faith that he'll find a way to pull this out where it will work. But I do kind of agree with you, though. I think the Power Slam would have been good to have made the message here. But obviously, they want to make sure that Braun definitely remains face, and probably wouldn't be surprised to see these two teaming next week on Raw against the OC. We'll have to wait and see if that is put together. Maybe them two and Ricochet against the OC. Probably feels like it's a made six-man tag ready. We'll have to wait and see. Next question comes from the Why Man podcast. How would you feel about Undisputed Era versus the New Day for the tag titles? Very good. It's a give a quick answer on that one. Undisputed Era, I think it's time for them. If they weren't going to have all the belts in NXT, it's time to bring them up. And I think SmackDown is actually the right home for them because there is actually room for them to be on the SmackDown side. I don't think that they would get lost in the shuffle. I think they'd be booked pretty well. Eric Bischoff on that side as well, maybe having a bit of flirtation with the creative direction. Got some experience with stables. I only mentioned the NWO, and they're probably, with the way they do their promos and stuff, I think they've kind of got that similar mold, similar fit. And to go for the tag team titles for Fish and O'Reilly, I should say, against the New Day, I think it would be some solid tag team action. I would really enjoy it. I think a New Day Undisputed Era program in general with stables would be fun to watch also. My only dig with that would be Kofi being the champion, maybe a bit soon for Adam Cole to go straight into the WWE Championship picture. But as a feud would be fantastic. But for the tag titles, yeah, definitely. I mean, it feels like there's a gap right now on the SmackDown Tag Team division, and it feels like that it's being filled currently by the Revival from Raw. It feels like they're going to be the next guys going for New Day. So if they're not going to push guys like AOP on SmackDown, you've got as well Heavy Machinery. We've had Daniel Bryan now, and Rowan seem to be in the direction of going towards Roman Reigns with a feud. So yeah, Undisputed Era would be perfect. We'll have to wait and see if New Day overcome the Revival, who seem to be the next challengers, and we'll see what goes from there. But yeah, I would love to see that feud someday. Undisputed Era against any stable on the main roster, I'd be kind of keen to see, whether it be the New Day, the OC. Sign me up. I mean, I'd love to see it. Even to see watch them destroy Lucha House Party. Could be fun for one episode of Raw 1 week. Last question comes from Andrew Hughes, who asked the question, when do you think James Storm will return to WWE, and will he team with Rude, which I'm guessing is Bobby Roode? And of course they were a team in Impact Wrestling, or TNA back in the day, with Beer Money. I'd love to see that team reformed. I think it would help Bobby Roode in WWE. I don't know how much it would help, though. This is the point I would kind of give here. I'm not sure Andrew is going to like my answer here. I actually don't think James Storm is coming back. He's recently been with NWA and has also done some ROH appearances with the NWA banner as well. It just feels to me he's not young anymore. I feel like his time was when he went to NXT. He decided to go back to Impact Wrestling, and although at the time I think Triple H was interested in having him back, a lot of the more recent, older signings from Impact Wrestling, Abyss being one of them, were more from a creative standpoint. Sanjay Dutt as well, more of an agent. It feels like I think James Storm's time has passed, where I think he would be used as someone who could really get over in WWE. He may be used in NXT, he may be used in WWE, but I would see him more as an enhancement talent, which is not really what I would want to see, really. And I think him and Bobby Roode, it could work as a tag team. I think it would be the only thing that would make Storm work in WWE at this stage of the game. But when you look, I mean, take AJ Styles and Samoa Joe out of the equation here. We look at guys that have come from Impact Wrestling, EC3, Eric Young, and there's and Bobby Roode is another one really there, and they've had sort of okay at best, but they're all struggling to get TV time. They're all on main event, so I'm not sure that if it would work or not for James Storm at this stage, if he was to ever come to WWE. I'm happy to be proven wrong though, and I am a fan of James Storm. I think he's done some good work over the years. I would be quite keen to see Beer Money. As I just said, there seems to be a bit of a gap in the tag team division in WWE right now. And Bobby Roode was a tag team champion as you know, I think as early as January or so was when they lost the belts, maybe. I think it was January, maybe. They definitely were champions at Survivor Series with him and Chad Gable. So, you know, maybe someone can let me know in the comments when they lost those tag team belts. But I'm pretty sure it was around the turn of the year. So it's not too late for Bobby Roode to get back on side in WWE. And if he had James Storm by his side, maybe the team could work. The only problem, I suppose, with that, again, is Vince McMahon, because of the fact that he doesn't really look at what happens outside of WWE and thinks, but that's what the fans would want. We can see it already when we've finally got the OC back together, but have they got Finn Balor on side yet? Not yet. So we'll have to see when Finn comes back if he does come into the mix. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that just yet, and I'm not holding my breath either on James Storm coming to WWE, sadly. But that's all from me anyway on this episode here of Ask SCW. Remember, once again, you can ask your questions and get involved on these videos. You can do it in the comment section of this video, or you can go on Twitter, SCW Wrestling Channel, or at SCW_Steve. You can go and follow me as well right now, and make sure to follow all the guys as well asking questions on this particular video. It's great to see people getting involved as well, and always great conversations on Twitter, not just questions as well, so I really appreciate you guys getting involved, and yeah, look forward to chatting more with you in pro wrestling very, very soon. But please like, share and subscribe. I'm hoping to do a King of the Ring preview video as well for you, as before we get to Raw this week as well, so keep an eye out for that on the channel. But that's all for me anyway. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time here on SCW here on YouTube.com. Take care. I'll see you next time.